Hi everyone, this is the video due on Friday, 3.16 Arithmetic Sequences Day 2. So, before we begin, let's understand some of the words that we'll see in these multiple choice problems. So the first word we'll see is sequence. And what does that mean? Another word for sequence, it just means a pattern, okay? A pattern. It could be a pattern of numbers or shapes. It's also just a list of numbers. All of these things means a sequence. Sequence is something that's in order. Okay, so the first question says, in a sequence, the first term is 4, and the common difference is 3. The fifth term of the sequence is, and that's what they want us to find. So what's really helpful is to use our table. So I'm going to start labeling this table with X and Y, and it already tells us the first term is 4. So figure 1 is going to have 4 blocks, or my first term is 4. And the common difference is 3. If we think back to yesterday, we actually saw this term. This means that we are adding by 3 every time. So to get to the next number, I need to add 3. So my next number will be 7, right? So in figure 2, there'll be 7. Figure 3, add 3 more, that's 10. Figure 4, add 3 more, that's 13. And figure 5, we'll add 3 more, it's 16. So we kept adding 3 down our y values until we got to our fifth term. That's what they wanted us to find, the fifth term. That leaves us with answer choice 3. Okay, so let's look at the second question here. Which function defines the sequence -6, -10, -14, -18, where f of 6 equals -26? Well, let's look at this sequence of numbers, this order of numbers. So what this tells us is that the first term is -6. This is the first term. And this is the second term. And this is the third term. And this is the fourth term. And what they want us to find is, well, what happens, what equation will show an output of -26 for the input 6. So there's a lot of things that we can do here. And I can make a table. So first term is -6. We got second term, which is -10. Third term, which is -14. Fourth term, which is -18. Let's see what the change is. From -6 to -10, we're going down. And we're going down by 4. -4, -4. Okay? And then if I keep continuing this down the table, 5 and 6... -4, -4, I end up getting what they told us, that when the input is 6, the output is -26. So -26 goes here. And then, let's see, -18 minus 4 is -22. I go down 4 more, and I have -26. So we need to figure out which equation makes sense. Well, what is our slope? Well, our change in x was +1, and our slope is the change in y over the change in x. So we have -4 divided by +1, which is -4. This should be the slope in my equation. Let's look at our problem. The only one that has our slope of -4 is answer choice 1. Now, this seemed too obvious and too easy. So another way I could have done it is, what happens when the input is 6? Will I get an output of -26? So another way we could have done it was to plug in 6 for x and see which equation gets us -26 for the output. So for example, if I plug this into my calculator and I looked at y equals, I can look at what happens when x is 6, where is the y -26, or I can look at it like this. I can also plug in, well, what if I plugged in 6 everywhere there was an x? Do I get negative 26? If I plug in 6 for x, do I get negative 26? If I copy this equation, I plug in 6 for x, do I get negative 26? And I plug in 6 for this one, do I get negative 26? If you check that in your calculator, again, answer choice 1 is the only one that gives us the output of negative 26. So there are many different ways we can approach this. You can use a table, you can plug in our calculator, we can look at the y equals in the calculator. If you have any questions about this, please write them below, and we will be using this in class. So please make sure that you write any questions below so you can ask them. I'll see you tomorrow.